Hello. The objective for this video is to solve for a missing variable in a proportion. What is a proportion? Well, a proportion is two equal fractions. And in this particular case, I actually have two fractions, 1/2 and 5/10, which we know 5/10 simplifies to 1/2. So those two are equal fractions. The same is true with 3/4, which is equal to 75 over 100. I like to think of it as 3/4 equals 75 cents because that's 0.75 as a decimal. Well, sometimes you're going to get proportions set up like this, two fractions that are equal, or you don't know one of the numbers, and they're going to put a variable inside. So you're going to have something like this. You're given x over 10 equals 1/2. We already know the answer on this one. I gave it to you in the previous screen. We know it's going to be 5. Let's see if we can solve another way in case we didn't know what it was going to be. We're going to do this using a cross-multiply method. And it's important you learn to be able to do it this way, because eventually you're going to see stuff like 2x minus 5 over 8 equals x over 3x, which you're not going to be able to solve by simply guessing and checking, or by multiplying two numbers and dividing by the second number. You're not going to be able to do that. So if you learn this cross-multiply method, it'll help you when you get to more complicated problems like this. How does the cross-multiply method work? Well, the first step is to cross-multiply. You cross-multiply by multiplying the two numbers that are opposite of each other. X and 2 are opposite here, so we're going to get 2x. And we're going to do 10 times 1, which is 10. So I've got the two cross products. Step 2 is to set those two cross products equal. Step 3 is to solve for the missing variable. I've got 2x equals 10. That's 2 times x. So instead of times, I'm going to do the opposite operation, which is divide. And I'm going to get x is equal to 5. The same answer we were expecting. And that's how we can get it if we don't know what the number is. Generally, in a proportion as simple as this, it is going to involve multiplying the two numbers that are opposite of each other and dividing by the number that is opposite of the variable. Let's say you were given this particular example here, 2 over 5 equals 20 over x. Solve for x. First thing I do is I write the problem down. Then I do the cross multiplying. 2 times x gives me 2x. 5 times 20 gives me 100. Set those two equal. Now I've got 2 times x, which means I'm going to divide by the 2, which is going to give me x equals 50. And that would be my final answer. On this example, again, I would rewrite the problem so I know I'm not messing up the original. I cross multiply, I get 8x equals 7 times 12 is 84. Then I'm going to divide by the 8, because 8 times x, so I do the opposite, which is divide. And that's going to give me x is equal to 10.5. 84 divided by 8 is going to give you 10.5. It's not always going to work out to be a nice integer or whole number. You got to be aware of that. All right. At this point, I'd like you to take a moment and pause the video. Try these 4 problems. Restart the video and I'll step through them. So pause the video now. All right, welcome back. Again, we're going to cross multiply. We get 9x equals 15. And we divide by the 9, and we get x is equal to 1.6666 repeating. In this particular case, well, I round to the nearest hundredth. Whenever I've got multiple decimal places, I usually round to the second decimal place. So I would have an answer of x equals 1.67. Because the second decimal place is a 6, the one after it is greater than 5, so I round up and I get 1.67. It would also be acceptable to write 1.6 repeating as your answer. So this is the answer I would give. Either one of those is acceptable. Here, this number 2, I cross multiply, I get 3x is equal to 50. Divide by 3, and I'm going to get x is equal to 16.6 repeating. Again, you can do that 50 divided by 3 in your calculator, that's what you're going to get. So again, you can leave it as the 0.6 repeating, or I like to show 2 decimal places, so I do 16.67. And in order to box or circle your final answer. Okay, here we cross multiply again. We're going to get 4x is equal to 320. I don't expect everyone to know what 5 times 64 is off the top of their head. Use your calculator. When you divide by 4, you're going to get x is equal to 80. This time it worked out to be a nice integer. And we cross multiply here, we get 8x is equal to 70. Divide by 8, and you get x is equal to 8.5. There's my final answer. Hopefully now the proportions won't be as scary. I know fractions, everyone out there does not like fractions, but when you see this, you'll find you are often working with whole numbers and it's not too bad. Remember the 3 steps. Cross multiply, set the products equal, solve the one-step equation at the end, which is going to be usually just division. Thank you.